Foremost, the work of a silversmith is to help someone store their wealth in a very tasteful and useful manner.
An 18th century silversmith learned how to be a silversmith through an apprenticeship, which starts when you're a child, so boys and girls, generally between 9 and 14 years old. And you're learning how to do that trade through the master and mistress of the shop teaching you the arts and mysteries of the craft. You're going to learn how to read and write, which is important for running a business, but also for alloying silver and gold. You're also going to be fed, housed, and clothed, and you're going to be working until you become an adult in the eyes of the law, which was 18 if you're presenting female and 21 if you are male. At which point you then become a journeyman and your apprenticeship ends.
In 18th century Williamsburg, we see all manner of folks that are actually practicing the trades. But specifically in silversmithing, we're going to see mostly young white men that are apprentices and journeymen. However, we do see all over the place, really, in the 18th century colonial world, we're going to see folks of all genders and races. We're certainly seeing that in the colonies. We're seeing that up in New England. We're seeing that down in Charleston, South Carolina. And in Williamsburg, for example, we know that Sarah Pack is running her own silversmithing shop from 1731 to 1733. And her shop is specializing in watch and clock making and repair.
Silversmiths get the silver from you, the customer. We're recycling it. Things that you bought in our shop, things that you just don't particularly like anymore, want them to be more fashionable to show off, right? And we are going to make them fashionable again. 18th century silversmith customers are the middle class and the gentry. Generally, the more money that you have to spend, the more likely it is you are going to walk through that door there. But we don't care what your social status is. We don't particularly care what your gender is when you walk through that door, what your race is. We care if you have cold hard cash, because that's what we can work with. That's what we can make something out of. It doesn't matter how little or how much you bring us, because we can hammer it out as thin as needed. So it's the second most malleable of all the metals known to man. We can literally stretch your dollar as far as it needs to go. So we can make you something, whether it's small or large, it's up to you, the customer.
It's important for us to preserve the trade of silversmithing at Colonial Williamsburg. First and foremost, we are the nation's leading experimental archaeologists. We're doing this work over days, months, and decades, and comparing it to documented contexts from the 18th century. So as artisan historians, we are paving the way and preserving this understanding.
Any museum, though, they can preserve the artifacts, but we preserve how they're actually made. We are making something out of precious metal, and then it's going to go home with a client just like it would have in the 18th century.
Someone I love taught me, what man has done, man can do. And so it's our job to figure out how it was done, preserve this for our future generations. And if we know where we've been, it's so much easier for us to move forward in a conscientious way as a human race.